The GameCube, home to amazing games like Super Mario Sunshine, Smash Melee, Mario Kart Double Dash, Zelda the Wind Waker, Metroid Prime, Paper Mario the Thousand Year Door, and many more. While a lot of people look back at this console with happy memories, love for the system, and just overall appreciation for it, in reality, it was one of the worst Nintendo consoles ever in terms of sales, and is seen as an absolute commercial failure. To find out the reasons for this console's failure, we're gonna have to go back to when the GameCube was first shown off in North America. The year is 2001. The PS2 has been out for about a year now and is selling really well. The Sega Dreamcast, on the other hand, has failed miserably and put Sega out of the console market. And Nintendo? Well, Nintendo were about to reveal their newest console at E3 2001, the Nintendo GameCube. The presentation starts with Nintendo of Japan president at the time, Satoru Iwata, giving a speech about the company, and then, shortly after, Shigeru Miyamoto is called onto the stage and is seen carrying what seems to be a box and a controller. It is then revealed to be the Nintendo GameCube. Well, let's pause for a second. That console looks really small, doesn't it? And where's the cartridge slot? All Nintendo consoles to this point have had them, even when the PlayStation 1 started adopting the use of CDs. Could it be? Is Nintendo finally changing their ways and adapting to change? Well, yes and no. You see, the GameCube would be the first Nintendo console to not use cartridges, but it wouldn't be the first to use DVD-ROMs. That would be the Wii. So what does the GameCube use? Well, in the simplest terms possible, the GameCube used mini discs, which are really just what you think they are, small discs. Now, these discs were chosen to prevent piracy and to reduce manufacturing costs, but this small change would be one of the main reasons that the console would fail. With the discs being so small, also meant they could store less data. DVD-ROMs, which were used for PlayStation 2 games, could hold up to 4.7 gigabytes of data, while the mini discs that were used for the GameCube could only store up to 1.4 gigabytes. I'm sure you can already start to see where the issue is here. What this essentially meant is that third-party developers who plan to release their games on both PS2 and GameCube would either have to make their games small enough to fit on both systems so that there wouldn't seem to be a difference in the versions, or they would have to heavily condense down the GameCube version, hence making it a worse experience. Now, this wouldn't be an issue if the GameCube was more than just a game console, because Nintendo has never been too reliant on third-party developers other than for games like Banjo-Kazooie, which they lost with the GameCube. But all Nintendo consoles past the GameCube had their own quirk to try to fit in as new competitors would arise over the years and try to take over the market with the power of their system. While Nintendo's consoles would be severely underpowered, but have their own quirk that would make them stand out and be unique. For example, with the Wii, it had its revolutionary motion controls, and despite being severely underpowered, won that generation's console war by a lot. The same goes for the Nintendo Switch. Although its graphical capabilities are far behind those of other consoles, it has still sold over 91 million units due to its uniqueness alone, that being the ability to take the system anywhere you go. But the GameCube had none of this. The GameCube was just another console unless you were a Nintendo fan. You had no reason to buy it. The PS2 did everything the GameCube could and better, and not to mention the fact that the system only launched with one first-party game, that being Luigi's Mansion, a brand new series from Nintendo which sported a dark and gloomy look. While other consoles like the NES, SNES, and N64 each launched with their own respective bright and colorful main series Mario game, with the GameCube not getting one until 2002 with the release of Super Mario Sunshine, and that game was rushed out to try to save the system. The GameCube would further worsen its reputation in the gaming world by being the only console of that generation to not play DVDs. While the Xbox and PS2 doubled as DVD players, the GameCube was incapable of playing them due to Nintendo's poor decision to use the mini discs instead of regular ones. Along with all these setbacks, rushed games, and awful marketing, the GameCube's appearance would also be another one of its big problems. Due to its lunchbox design, many people saw the GameCube as a toy rather than an entertainment system. Now, this wouldn't be that bad of an issue, as around the time of the NES and SNES, gaming was only seen as a children's toy. But by the GameCube's time, it had evolved into a hobby that many adults indulged in, and the appearance of it being seen as a children's toy did not help, while the Xbox and PlayStation 2 actually looked like gaming systems. Now, this doesn't mean the GameCube had an awful library of games. No, not at all. The GameCube actually is one of the best libraries of all of Nintendo's consoles ever. Like I stated at the beginning, the system is home to so many classics, and even one of the most popular fighting games of all time, Super Smash Bros. Melee. It really sucks that a lot of people never got to experience these games due to poor design and marketing decisions by Nintendo, as the GameCube is regarded as an absolute classic among fans. All of this goes to say that this was a great learning lesson for Nintendo, who, after the GameCube's commercial shortcomings, would precede the console with Nintendo's best-selling home console of all time, the Nintendo Wii. This time taught Nintendo that they couldn't just rely on Mario and Zelda to make their consoles sell well, and that with all the new consoles coming into the market, they needed to find a way to stand out. And with the absolute crazy success of the Wii, they seem to have figured it out. And with that, Nintendo would never have a commercial failure of a console again. Never mind.